What was your favorite subject in school, Dennis?
It's always been science and math.
Did you have a teacher that made the subject come alive for you? Inspired you?
Well, in junior high, I was more into sports, and I remember some teachers there. But it was rather than teachers, it was two of my friends, Randy and Emmett, who were both interested in the same things I was, and we kind of built off of each other in their interest in science. Started with rocketry and chemistry, and then in 1960, telescopes and astronomy, and then ham radio, electronics, and computers. And all three of us had those interests, and Emmett I'm still in touch with, and we still talk about the old times. I lost touch with Randy.
Tell about that when you discovered Saturn.
Yeah, 1960 is kind of when my life changed. Before that, things are kind of hazy, and I was into coin collecting, stamp collecting, rocketry, chemistry, sports. But the memory of it is kind of all mushed together. In 1960 summertime, I was selling all occasion greeting cards to my neighbors and my aunts and uncles. You'd sell 14 boxes and get a prize. And the first boxes I got one of those airplanes that goes around on the control lines.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I crashed it, or it didn't work quite right. I finally figured out why it wasn't built right. And then either the next boxes, I got an overhead projector that you'd put on a book and it would show on the wall, and you could draw a trace on it. But the other prize I got was a telescope. And I had looked through Randy's telescope, which was a little one. We looked at the moon and the star, and maybe that triggered it that I wanted to get a telescope for my prize. So I got this telescope, and couldn't get it working right at first. It was cracked in the back, and I thought that was the problem. I was able to overcome that, but I couldn't see anything through it. So I took the eyepiece out and then slowly came in like this, and finally something popped into view. So I had forgotten what focusing meant with a telescope. Not forgotten, you probably didn't know in the first place.
Yeah.
So boom, this water tower popped into view, which they're building at the time. I was watching them build it.
Yeah.
And then at night, I pointed at a bright star in the moon, and the bright star happened to be Jupiter and its moons. And then one night Emmett came over. We were looking at Jupiter and the moon, and he said, "Look at that orange star over there." And I said, "No, it's getting late. I want to go in now. Plus my telescope's getting wet from the dew, so I don't think I want to look at it." And he says, "Oh, come on." I said, "No." And he says, "Come on." I said, "Okay." So we pointed it at that, and I looked through there, and it was Saturn, and you could see the ring. And I yelled that out, Saturn. And his mom, four houses down, heard me, and we were jumping around. He looked through it. We were jumping around, and that was a really important event in my life because it started me on my journey of astronomy, and which led into teaching my whole life.